There are 4 mistakes that block meeting a nice girl. If you want to know why you're still alone, then listen carefully. I was riding in a taxi recently. The driver recognized me, and during the conversation, he tells me, "I want to meet a nice girl. I'm tired of being alone." I asked him, "Are you doing anything for this?" He says, "No, nothing." Well, I decided to bring it to the point of absurdity, and I tell him, "It's weird, but then why don't you meet her?" And he says, "It's probably my fate." Well, what does fate have to do with it? If you haven't created any prerequisites for this meeting, then no one will throw a good woman at your doorstep like a kitten. Let's be honest. You just don't want to approach girls, try, and take risks. Why? Well, because you know that rejections are waiting for you. To find one normal girl, you'll have to get punched in the face by 100 freaks. You will be harshly drained, looked at as a maniac. Some people will even make fun of you. When a man overcame his fear, when he sincerely approached, and the girl said to him, "Sorry, I'm not getting acquainted." That's another positive thing. Because some people will be scared of you, shying away from you as if you were a leper or sick. And then her friends will point fingers at you. "Look, what a goblin, what a gremlin came up to me. Did he really think that I would get to know him?" To make a decision to look for a good girl, you need to be a daredevil, a very brave person, I'll tell you. Because you will have a total nullification, the destruction of your self-esteem. When a woman with an IQ like a stool will teach you more about life on a dating site. It's like in a computer game. To reach the main boss, you first need to pass through a crowd of small fighters. That's exactly the same here. Everyone will tell you, "I'm sorry, I'm married," although you can see that she's not wearing her wedding ring. Most likely, she's just kidding you. And you're thinking, "Am I really that bad? Did I scare her so much? What's happening?" When you hear a phrase from a mediocre woman, "I'm sorry, you're not my type," then you just want to sink through the ground. But the most unpleasant thing is when you approach this dating process sincerely and soulfully. But the girl reacts to you as if you came up and asked her for some little thing. It turns out that if you want a good girl, you'll get 100, maybe even 200 blows to your ego. So your task is just to survive. And men experience this moment so deeply that they have been remembering women's rejections for years. I remember that too. You've already forgotten her name, or maybe you didn't even know it, but the way she looked at you with disgust, you remembered it 100%. As a result, the most sensitive and vulnerable men stop meeting women altogether. Well, or once every 3 months. Such a man will try to get to know someone, get punched in the face, and sit at home again. And I can understand them. Up to a certain age, I was also very vulnerable. When I was 19 years old, when I was already actively pumping iron, when I looked good, one day I leave the house. I start meeting a girl in the park. 1 girl turned me down, 2 turned me down, 5 turned me down. I just don't understand what's going on. But I did go on a date with 1 girl. Everything was fine. There was already such a state of anticipation. 2 days pass, and suddenly she says to me, "I'm sorry, I have a boyfriend, and we can't communicate with you anymore." And that's when I came home and just cried. I started crying because I was hurt. I didn't understand what I was doing wrong. I didn't understand why this was happening. I didn't understand why women refused so rudely and callously. And now I know why they do it. To refuse you is the only power in her life. This is the moment she lived for. Because she feels like a queen at this moment. And you're a pathetic petitioner. And the worse a woman's self-esteem is, the worse her brain is, the harder and more unpleasant she turns you down. According to my observations, the most adequate women do not like to refuse. They even worry a little about this issue. What should I tell a man so that he doesn't get upset? I understand that for a serious man, this dating process is an endless pain. But the thing is, a good girl won't come crawling to your lair on her own. You can potentially be a wonderful husband, a wonderful father, a wonderful person. But miracles happen only to those who create the prerequisites and conditions for them. A decent girl chooses a man from among those who came to her. But you didn't come to her. You're not on this list. Maybe she'll choose some moral freak instead of you. Just because this moral freak was more active. When you are looking for a good girl, you find her. Then you help not only yourself, but also her. It is important to remember this. If you want to meet a nice girl, then you need to at least leave the house for this. If you want a suitable girl, go and get her. Or do you think she'll come knocking on your door and say, I found out you're single, and you're abstaining, so I decided to stop by? But unfortunately, there will be no such scenario. But first of all, a man must have a sincere desire to meet a good girl. If a man says, I want a girl for the family, and he likes those with cleavage to the navel, well, that's the answer to why he doesn't meet a normal girl. When a man comes to my consultation and says, I can't find a wife, I immediately see who he chooses, who he falls for, who he likes on a dating site. And there's not even a whiff of seriousness. He likes those who have visible breasts, and if her skirt is higher than her panties. I know it sounds very silly. Someone probably won't even believe me. But a huge number of men like busty girls in miniskirts. And then they complain that they can't find a normal girl. Is she supposed to parachute into your life? You see her buttocks and you like them. If you see an udder, you give it a super like. And you just scroll through an ordinary girl. My friend, you get exactly what you order. I do not know how it works. But a man in life meets those women who match his lifestyle. I have many friends who say, all I need is a decent wife. But until I meet her, I can get by with not very decent girls. This category of people will never meet a good girl. Never. No chance. Don't even hope for it. I'm going to say an amazing thing. I actively practiced communicating with girls from the age of 20 to 24. I've had over 10,000 conversations, over 100 dates. This is the number of outgoing messages only from social networks. But mostly I talked on dating sites. In all this time, I haven't met a single good girl. The question arises, why? How could this even happen? Such a crazy amount of dialogue. Because I wasn't looking for her. I liked only those to whom I had a reaction. Well, to be completely honest and straightforward, I liked those with whom I would like to sleep. With this approach, your result will be zero. Do you know what the biggest mistake smart men make? They most often choose women with 8 points out of 10. That is, she's not exactly like a model, but at the same time she's a bit homely. Well, in general, a man finds such a compromise option. So, in my opinion, this is the worst scenario. Because a man who chose a girl for 10 points, yes, she will rot and devour him. But he will enjoy her for 2 years. Well, at least a person can be understood here. A man wants to die young. Okay, and those who choose a girl by 5, 6, less often by 7 points, they get a reliable rear and warmth. That is, a good girl can look like that. And the 8, it's not hot enough. It's not good enough. So you get mediocrity. 8 is not a top model. But at the same time she has an inflated self-esteem. Why do you need her? You should set your priorities. If you plan to die young, then it's better to choose 10 at once. If you want to live a quiet life, then you need to lower your expectations in terms of appearance a little. But I'll tell you in confidence that after about 5 years of a relationship, a habit is developed for any appearance. Even a 10, even an 8, even a 6. You won't be impressed. After 5 years of relationship, the shape of her buttocks won't matter to you at all. What will matter is whether she can shut up in time during a quarrel or a domestic dispute, or not. Another very important observation. Of the people I know personally, they've all met a good girl only through abstinence. I had it too. Before that, I hadn't abstained for most of my life. These were very short periods. But at some point I started. And after a few months I met my wife. I am absolutely sure that this is not an accident, but a base. This is the foundation. And those of my friends who don't abstain, none of them have a normal girlfriend. They're either lonely, or they're in a filthy relationship. Abstinence is a litmus test. It can help you understand where you will go and how your life will turn out. Abstinence, in fact, is a change of priority from a woman's appearance to her quality. If there is no abstinence in your life, then you are not ready for a serious relationship. Looking for a woman for a family with such a lifestyle is simply pointless. Yes, indeed, it happens that a man makes Herculean efforts, but he cannot find a girl for a relationship. Well, he just can't. And another one found her a month later. How much? Was one man lucky and the other wasn't? I think that's not the point. Tell me, what happens if you give the loser the keys to the Ferrari? That's right. He'll crash both himself and the car. It's the same here. If a man is not ready, and he meets a good girl, It will be a tragedy for both of them. For example, a man says, "I want a wife tomorrow." And we start digging. Why tomorrow? Well, because I'm tired of being alone. Why are you tired of being alone? Well, because I don't like being alone. Why don't you like being alone? Well, because I'm sad. That's how it is. That's your real motivation. You're sad. You want a girl to caress you, amuse you, cheer you up. Do you think such a person is ready for something serious? Obviously not. That's why, of course, he can't meet anyone. It will take some time, and this man will say, "There are no suitable girls. Why aren't there any? I didn't see them." But you haven't seen the anteater either. But that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. The topic should not try to find a good girl as quickly as possible. In this matter, timeliness is very important. Many people know that I met my wife on the very first day, as soon as I registered on a dating site. This was my first or second message. I didn't even write to her the first time. She's the one who sent me the message. After 3 days, she had already quit and was at my house. And many will say, "You're lucky." But few people know what happened in my life for a whole year before this meeting. It was a terrible thing. I was just surviving. And this year I've become a completely different person. And only after that there was a meeting with his wife. I'll tell you a secret. The idea of choosing a wife came to me on the very day when this meeting happened. That is, until a week ago, I wasn't even planning to choose any wife at all. And it was the perfect moment. If I had met her a year earlier, I would have ruined this relationship. Well, or I would have just walked by. I wouldn't even have started. If I had met her a year later, I would have recovered from the crisis by now, and I would have started looking for adventures again. That is, I had a very short range of adequacy when I was ready to start a family life. Why did 80% of men meet a wife after breaking up with an unsuitable girl? Well, because when you get punched in the face by life, your dopamine is low. And you don't need elastic buttocks. You're not interested. You need warmth and peace of mind. This is the only moment in my life when my psyche was set up to choose a woman correctly, which I did. It was the perfect moment. And it also happens when a man at a consultation tells me, "Alex, I've been abstaining for 6 months, and where is my reward? Why is there still no good girl by my side?" I'll say this, she's not there. Because you haven't really changed. You're just holding your breath. As soon as you get what you want, you will exhale and become the same. You'll be watching girls and adult movies. You're doing the right thing. But your motivation is wrong. Therefore, we get a bad result at the exit. Just ask yourself a question and answer it honestly. If you knew for sure that you would never have met a normal woman, would you continue abstinence or not? If not, then your abstinence is just a fake. It also happens when a man imitates the state of search. He only pretends that he is looking for a woman. One day, my friend and I were at a church service, and there was a sweet girl standing in front of us. She could even be called beautiful. There is no wedding ring. She is not married. She was never distracted by anything there. She didn't look around. She didn't look at her phone. Her face was fair. Her clothes were modest. Well, the overall impression of her is the most positive. All he had to do was approach her. But my friend didn't do it. Why? Well, probably because he's shy. The ideal option comes into your hands, but you pretend that you don't see it. I believe that being shy about approaching the potential mother of your children is the same as being shy about leaving a burning house, or being shy about taking a medicine that will save your life. There are things that are unacceptable to be shy about. I know such examples when a person prays that God will give him a wife, family, and children, and God puts the perfect girl in front of him, and the man just ignores her and doesn't come her. And then he complains, "Lord, why don't you give me a wife? He gave her to you, but you just didn't take her." It is important to remember that a man has only 2 attempts to build a relationship with a good girl. That is, if you make a mistake. If a good girl turns out not to be very good, then your psyche switches to a mode where good and suitable girls do not exist. Well, you've probably read such comments, that all women are the same, that there are no good women left. This is written by people who have reached the limit of attempts. To prevent you from joining their ranks, you need to adhere to basic safety precautions. For example, if you have met a potentially suitable girl, then forbid yourself to be happy for at least the first 60 days. Try to treat this as calmly as possible. You can even convince yourself that there's probably some kind of problem with her until she proves otherwise. Why is this important? Because the more excited you are, the more powerfully you will hit the asphalt. And the number of such blows and disappointments you can withstand is not infinite. Only a certain number. Many people have already been burned by this. You've been looking for a woman for months, and here she is, perfect, beautiful. But after 2 months it turns out that it's not her. After this, many even give up. Many men have been bullied and intimidated by problematic women. You don't have a big salary. You don't have a spacious apartment. You don't have a prestigious car either. Let's be honest. That's probably not going to happen in your life. As a result, the man feels unworthy. Most men are not looking for a woman for a serious relationship because they feel they have nothing to offer her. I have quite a lot of friends who only have frivolous relationships. Because if you start a serious relationship, then the calculation begins. Where are we going to live? What are we going to live on? How are we going to live? That is, to let a girl into your life means to show her what you have. Turn your whole life inside out. It's like inviting a guest home and not cleaning up, or flushing the toilet. It feels very similar. You know what I'll tell you? You underestimate yourself very much. You just feel like you have nothing to offer her because you've been judged by troubled women all your life. According to their criteria, well, you really are not D'Artagnan. It's true, but a good girl. She's different. She is as unpretentious as possible. She doesn't have any financial requests. Do you know what distinguishes a good girl from a bad one? A good girl adapts to what is in her life, but a problem girl wants and demands what is not in her life. I know examples where a man found a suitable girl, and they lived with her because the man didn't have his own living space. There are many historical examples, actually. Chekhov became engaged to his wife, being terminally ill. After that, he lived for only 3 years. Dostoevsky got married at a time when he was in debt, and after the wedding, they lived in an extremely poor situation. There is evidence that his wife even sold her clothes. Maxim Gorky met his wife. In fact, when he was homeless, he worked and slept wherever he had to. And, you know, for some reason I am sure that they were happier than many who now live richly. You say that you have nothing to offer her. Well, let's check it out with you. A simple test. Can you provide your family with food every day? Yes. Provide protection? Yes. Emotional support? Yes. Will you love children? Yes. But what's the problem then? Is the problem that you can't buy the most modern iPhone or MacBook? Well, is it really critical? How much does porridge and chicken cost for 3? Well, a few $100s a month. The clothes are simple. And some kind of roof over your head. Well, what can't you provide? A private kindergarten for a few $1,000s? Did you go to a private kindergarten? No. Well, you seem to have grown up to be a good person. Nothing terrible happened. It is often said that a man should get back on his feet and only then create a family. Yes, I agree. It sounds logical. But in practice it looks like this. You started, and you've gone on to earn $1,000. Is it possible to create a family now? No, you need 2,000. Okay, you started earning 2,000. Is family possible now? No, you have a small apartment. Okay, you bought a big apartment, and now a family is possible. A bad neighborhood. Okay, you sell the apartment. You buy another one. You move. Is family possible now? No. It is necessary to save money for the education of children. You've saved up some money, and you're 55 years old. You're ready, but you don't have anyone to live with anymore. While you were preparing, your whole life passed by. That is, this process of increasing comfort is endless. There is no stage of 100% readiness for family life. No one has ever been ready for children, so the first child is a shock, always and for everyone. No one is ready. You're ready when you're already doing it. If you want to be ready, then just start. But there are men who say, I won't take good girls. I'm not ready for them yet. I might ruin the girl. For now, I'll choose a busted girl. It turns out that you can pick up a drunk girl, but you can't date an adequate girl. Well, you know, it's like a thief who robs only the rich and proudly says, I don't touch the poor. My friend, you don't touch the poor because they have no money. They have nothing to steal. It's the same here. It's not that a man takes care of good girls. You choose busted girls because they attract you much more. If a very beautiful, good figure, young, long-legged, and at the same time adequate and good girl comes to your house tomorrow, whom you supposedly do not want to spoil, then you will not refuse her. You just have to admit that you enjoy the thrash. But it's not enough that you enjoy from it. You found a beautiful excuse not to change anything in your life. And now I'm going to say something important. You're already a winner because you're looking for a good girl for a serious relationship this year. You're the only one among 100,000 people. Most people live from mating to mating. They're asking some unsuitable girl to marry them. It seems to me that you don't realize how close you are to the goal. 99% of men don't know how to choose a girl, how to distinguish a bad girl from a good one. They are not ready for a relationship psychologically. You are unique. You've already gone 95% of the way. You and I have knowledge that no one else has. We just forgot about it. You have accumulated knowledge. You know all the principles. You are on the verge of a breakthrough. You have no competitors. You're like a diamond in a pile of trash. Any good girl who meets you will exhale and say, well, finally, you're bound to succeed. That is, a man who wants a family, who is consciously looking for a good girl and is ready to work on himself. He cannot help but find her. He will definitely find her. Listen to me carefully. The very fact that you're watching this video, you're thinking about it, you're looking for answers, that's a victory. You're special. I hope this video was informative for you. I tried very hard to make it like this. Please like it. Well, if you are interested in such information, then you will always find it here by subscribing to my channel. Thank you all very much for watching.